Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Topics on the Don Lemon Show. Happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us this early. And we have a very big show planned for you this morning. A very big show. I want to tell you some of the things we're doing. We're following what's happening over in Israel and Iran, obviously following those things. We're also going to be speaking live in just a few minutes to Brad Lander. You know, Brad Lander is the Comptroller of New York City. He's also running for mayor, was arrested yesterday while trying to assist some of the undocumented immigrants after they had hearings here in New York City. And one of them was being detained. As they were being detained by ICE yesterday, Brad Lander was there, stepped in, was arrested. The governor got involved. We're going to speak to Brad Lander in just moments. But first, we want to start with a story that has really been making headlines and making waves. And it's interesting because I know the person involved, and, you know, it's tough to kind of report on these things, especially when you know the person. Okay, so I'm talking about entertainment mogul Tyler Perry. Tyler has been accused of SA. Okay, and I want to bring in Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked. He's the CEO of Hollywood Unlocked. Jason, good morning. We'll get to Jason in just a minute, but first, here's the report from ABC. Watch.
Tyler Perry tonight facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit by an actor who claims years of sexual harassment. The lawsuit, asking for $260 million, was filed by actor Derek Dixon, who was part of the BET series The Oval. The complaint says Perry has been using his power to, among other things, sexually assaulting impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors. Perry's lawyer released a statement tonight saying he will not be shaken down and called them fabricated claims of harassment.
Okay, $260 million. Here's the headline from some of the tabloids. I believe this one is from, I'm not sure if it's from TMZ or whatever, but this is from, where is this?
Hollywood Reporter.
Hollywood Reporter. Tyler Perry sued for alleged sexual assault, battery by Oval actor. Derek Dixon, an actor. Some of the Mogul's production claims Perry repeatedly made unwanted sexual advances. A lawyer for Perry said the filmmaker is being shaken down, and it goes on to report what it is. There are text messages that are listed. Hollywood Unlocked and Jason Lee, you better bet, is following this story. Jason, I read the text messages. Is there any there? First of all, good morning. Thank you for joining. So what is going on here?
Good morning. Listen, everybody that knows me that's been following my brand from day one knows that I don't have a problem spilling anybody's tea if I have to. Tyler Perry, who I don't consider a friend, that I do know, $260 million for allegedly SAing somebody who is an unknown actor that none of us have heard of until today, at least myself, is a reach. I looked at the text messages line by line. I don't see any rejection, if these are even text messages, because they haven't been substantiated yet as far as being true text messages. I don't see any message in there where there's where the person is making any claims of feeling a certain way or asking Mr. Perry not to behave in a certain way. I see jokes, friendly exchanges on both sides. And then knowing Tyler, having texted him a couple times, the misspellings on the alleged Tyler text doesn't give me that these are actually real. So I don't know even what we're talking about, other than now Tyler's name is splashed across every platform with these accusations. And you know how Google does, it rises to the top. And, the climate of cancel culture that we live in right now, this to me screams money grab.
Yeah, this is as you said, it's across everywhere. This is the New York Times, and when the New York Times start reporting something, it's huge, right? And you have the Hollywood Reporter. And look, I don't know what happened, but I read those text messages, Jason, and I have to tell you, is there something? There's got to be something else. If this guy is asking for $260 million, because in those text messages, I don't see a thing that is even remotely worth $260,000 or even going to court over some text messages that are there. Good. Sorry, Jason.
Here's what people need to understand how this all works, right? There's this new thing happening. We've seen it with multiple celebrities. And listen, I'm not a celebrity by any measure. I'm a public figure, and I've had people try to get close to me and then try to extort me for money and ask me for opportunities, because I don't give them what they want. Tyler Perry is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. I believe he's a billionaire. You know, this is Oprah and Gail's bestie, but more importantly, he is the man of opportunity because he can change your life with a role. And he's changed many people's lives, and I'm sure rightfully so, by giving them an opportunity that they've earned. I don't know this individual, and I don't want to attack the person's character, but what I will say is that there's this new world happening that people don't know about. The Hollywood Reporter, let's use them as an example, or Hollywood Unlocked. We're a part of what's called a syndication network. So when we write a story, it may go to our 3.7 million followers or 8 million followers within our ecosystem, but it's in a syndication network, which means it gets picked up by everybody else and they syndicated across every platform and goes to millions and millions of viewers. The second thing is you can file a lawsuit and say everything in a lawsuit that you can't say directly online and avoid being held accountable for defamation of character because the lawsuit told everybody what you allegedly did, not you. So you absolve yourself of accountability. This person can go and resolve this lawsuit by withdrawing it, and Tyler Perry's name would already be out in the court of cancel culture, regardless of whether he did it or not. So Tyler's been put in a very unfortunate situation. And this is why I say there needs to be some type of laws where people make claims that are not found to be true or that are found to be fake, where they need to be prosecuted or have some type of penalty, because at this point, Ronald McDonald could come forward and say Tyler rubbed his leg and offered him a role in the Oval, and people will believe it. And, you know, it is what it is, just another day at work.
Look, this is also, this started, look, this is as old as Hollywood, right? This is as old as, the world, that people have been accused of these things. But if you want to, let's just start from the Me Too movement, which is a legitimate movement. But there are people who, and don't get me wrong, I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And so when I look at this, I look at everything with a sort of critical eye. And I'm like, well, okay, someone rubbed your leg, whatever, that should not happen. But not everything is life altering and life changing. Okay. And if Tyler Perry is guilty of this, okay, fine, then he should. And I think Tyler would be the first person to say I should suffer the consequences. But I don't see anything in those text messages. I don't see anything in this lawsuit that rises to the level of a $260 million harassment claim that someone should even take to court. I would be surprised that it's going to stand in court. Now, I do know Tyler. Tyler and I aren't best friends. We are friendly. We've been more friendly. We've been friendlier in the past, but I have not been able to speak to him in quite some time because he's busy. I'm busy. But I will tell you that Tyler is a nice person. He is very playful in texts, haha, whatever, how you doing? And if you get to know him, he's just a very playful person. And those text messages to me speak to someone who thought they had someone's confidence. He was joking around with them and he thought that they were friends. I will also say that, look, I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but Tyler is a humanitarian. He does help a lot of people. And he said at the BET Awards, I have made more Black millionaires maybe than anyone in history. Okay. Look, can you separate those things? Yes. But what people should know is that when you're in this position, when you're in these positions, you are a target. And there have been rumors about Tyler, and there's rumors about everybody. Who knows what's true and who knows what's not? I don't care. I don't care what Tyler is. I don't whatever. I'm not in his bedroom. I'm not in his business. But I will tell you, just looking at this lawsuit, Jason, I don't know. I mean, $260 million. Like, come on now.
Listen, Don, let me just cut straight to it. I know I recently have been getting to know Tyler, and because we wanted to honor him this year at my award show, which we're honoring you, by the way. We acknowledge people who are driving the culture and who are having an impact beyond their talent. Tyler does a lot for the Black community, for everybody, not only just as a humanitarian. Just to think, even when Whitney Houston died, he put her body on his jet and flew her home to her family. That's the type of person Tyler is. I have found him to be very professional, also very respectful. Now, that's not to say that nothing could happen, but let's like unpack this a little bit. None of us have ever heard from Tyler Perry's lips that he was gay. So this is also an attempt to out him and an attempt to embarrass him. And most celebrities who don't have the resources will fold under the pressure because they just want the headline to go away. I got a call yesterday, and I haven't said this thing, but I got a call yesterday from Johnny Gill, who was frustrated at this person who's online claiming that they saw him kissing Eddie Murphy. And he's like, first of all, this has never happened. This is crazy. And he went on and on and on about the rumors that he's been fighting for years and how he wants to defend himself. And what Johnny was asking was, how do I even defend myself? You can't defend yourself with the internet. The internet has its own life. Here's the deal. Don, let me just say this. If I tell somebody right now in the DM, which I probably have, yo, you're fine as shit. I want to sleep with you. Where is that worth $260 million? I'm a single man. Men walk up to women in the club every day and say, hey, I want to sleep with you. And women have the right to say no. In this case, those text messages don't say no. And it don't say that he's done anything to go beyond the scope of being interested in another person. So I'm confused.
I am confused too. And I will say, obviously innocent until proven guilty, and this will all be played out in the courtroom. But I do have to say that if someone like Tyler Perry, who has the means, or as we say in the community, Tyler has long money, right? And if Tyler wanted this to go away, it would go away. We would not hear peep. So for Tyler to say, no, you are not going to extort me, or you are not going to get any of my money, speaks volumes about, I believe, the viability of this case and how this will possibly play out. Because if he wanted to go away, trust me, he could make it go away, and he has not done that. Do you think I'm wrong?
1000%. I have Don. I went on Facebook yesterday. There's so many memes about this. There's so many fake stories about it. There's so many salacious things driving clicks because people are making money from it. Yes, Tyler can make this go away. I saw a picture of Tyler Perry on a yacht with my friend Brian Tanaka, who's the ex of Mariah Carey. Just a photo saying Tyler on the boat with Mariah Carey's ex. They then tried to turn that into a story that they're now in a relationship. So this again is a part, I think, of a bigger propaganda thing against Tyler. But I do want to go on to say, and this is somebody who's been molested, and thank you for sharing your own survival story, because when you've been taken advantage of, you do look at things through a more critical lens and you want to defend people. I support anybody who's been a victim or survivor of being assaulted. But I will say that there's a lot of BS out there, and I do believe those people are the ones ruining it for the real victims and should be held accountable, including this person.
Look, I didn't quite get my point across earlier because it's early and I kind of lost my train of thought. But the Me Too movement has been good for many reasons, but also people have taken advantage of the Me Too movement and they want their Me Too money, right? They use the Me Too. They think that they're going to embarrass someone who is either a celebrity or wealthy, and they will just get paid to go away. They will file lawsuits, and then the lawyers who are the ambulance chasers will be like, oh, this is a money grab. We can get some money because Tyler's not going to want this headline. Jason's not going to want these headlines. Don's not going to want these headlines. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'll take the headlines. You are not getting my money. I will take you all the way to court till the very end to prove my innocence. But that's just me. But people are taking advantage, and it's doing a disservice to the Me Too movement and to I believe, the legitimate victims of SA.
Well, and the Men Too movement. See, where the Me Too movement failed is there is a Men Too movement that never happened because men are victims of sexual assault and molest and other things. And so their voices need to be elevated. But let me tell you something. You said, I don't want it. I welcome somebody to try me. I will drag you to the gates of hell, introduce you to the devil, spit in your face, and bring you back to heaven, where I will bless you with the biggest reading lawsuit and ass whooping that you will ever get. Fuck around and find out is the definition of this face. Don, I'm with all the smoke, even though I'm an elected official and I'm trying to change my community and I am making changes. What doesn't change with me is I'm with all the bullshit if that's what you want to try to do. They picked the right people. Tyler is a big giant, a jovial giant. He's a great man, and he stays out the way, and he minds his business, unless you're Monique, of course, and she's bitter and sad anyway. Yeah, but I know. When it comes to Tyler, he's not one to be in the news defending himself. So I do want to applaud Tyler for taking this moment to say, nah, I'm standing my ground, and I'm not going to let you bully me, and I'm going to keep my coins, period.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, look, what's between, I've spoken to Monique or whatever, what's between Monique and Tyler, that's their business. And I feel bad having to, it hurt. Look, this is a tough thing. Jason, as you know, this is a business that we're in, and we have to be critical of everything. And so, you have to interview people, you have to do stories on them. That doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with the stories of the person that you're interviewing. So it's been really tough. And I think it's been really tough because Monique was out there saying things about Tyler and Oprah, and I interviewed it. I wanted to know, and I'm sure they don't like that I reported on it, but that's what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, but when Monique told Tyler and Oprah to suck her dick, I mean, you don't
That's
even
bad.
have a dick.
That's
You
not good.
You don't even have a dick, and if you do have a dick, that's the headline. Let's talk about that. How big is it, Monique? Shit, come on. Is it on OnlyFans, Monique? What the fuck?
Yeah. You are full. So, Jason, anyway, so here's what I have to say. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in it. Tyler, I wish you well. I wish this person well, whatever he needs, if he needs, whatever help he needs, right? I believe in taking care of yourself. Then you get that, sir. But I do have to say, I'm a Tyler Perry stan on this. Okay. That's all I have to say. And, my brother, Tyler, do your thing. I looked at all of the text messages. Look, these are some of the text messages. Let's put them up real quick before we go to our ad break. Like, nice picture. Yeah, the water does look calm. Nice picture. Great, amazing, whatever. You don't see a stud in that nice picture.
I see a stud in the picture with calm water. Next slide.
Yes. I mean, who cares, right? I'd be like, if he texted me that, I'd be like, all right, I see you, Tyler. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And so that's if you are a genuine person and you're not out trying to get some money. But anyway, you have a really fresh voice and take on things or whatever. And he's telling them about an actor, and it appears to me he's trying to help this person. And guess what, though? What if he is flirting? I don't know.
Wait, that last slide, go back. He says, here's my feedback. Tyler Perry's giving you feedback on your creative project and saying, I see the characters. I don't see it for my audience, but let me help you.
Right.
But this is what happens when you try to help the homeless. The homeless sexuals that are running around looking for a place to live because rent is not cheap and their roommates are just beyond capacity. You got to be careful with a cute face, some abs, and a little bit of talent. Tyler has put on a lot of people that may not have the best talent, because we've seen some of the actors in some of the roles, and some could say maybe they got it because they're a cute face. I don't know. Look,
but isn't that what Hollywood is about? I mean,
yes. And I don't see any there. I'm still looking for the thing that says, can I fuck? And if I can't, you're not getting this opportunity. That's the there that Me Too is built on. Where is that here?
I don't see it. I don't see it. So, Jason, let's talk about what's going on in Hollywood. I've been speaking to people, and they're like, Hollywood is dead right now. Like, it is. The business is so slow. Is that true? False? What?
Nightlife is slow. Business is slow. There's no culture here. I moved to Stockton because I ran for office. I'm the vice mayor, and I'd still come back and forth in LA for work. I'm here today. No, Hollywood is not what it was 20 years ago when I moved here, 10 years ago, 7 years ago. I think after COVID, it's kind of died. I mean, we had the fires that burned down most of the big cities down here, Malibu, Palisades, Altadena. And so, I think people are trying to figure out how to recover. $250 billion in damage, nightlife dead. I mean, we voted to go clubs to 4 a.m., but the clubs closed at 1:45. It's a shithole here. Not to mention, I think now that, everybody has a cell phone, and then the Diddy stuff. I mean, Hollywood is not the same and probably won't be the same for a while.
Wait, because of Diddy? I mean, how does Diddy play into that?
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, in certain, Hollywood was built on nightlife, going out, having some fun, going to after parties,
getting sexy.
You can't even trust anymore. Look at this. Look at the story we're talking about today, right? Hollywood is built on going out, running into somebody that looks like they could be talented, having a conversation about, you could be a model, you could be an actor. Then you text them that, and then they flirt with you, you flirt with them, and now you're in a $260 million lawsuit.
Yeah. I spoke to someone regarding the costumes. Hang on one second, Andy, before we talk about that. Thank you. I spoke to someone about the costume situation in the parade that Donald Trump had over the weekend. And the costumer was so happy to have business that they went along with supplying Donald Trump with all of these, army costumes, because they're like, we have no business. So we had to take it, because that's what we have right here. Where is this going? Tyler is helping actually that situation, and not in the way that Hollywood would like, because he's bringing the movie business to Georgia.
Listen, California. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my political hat. I ran for office because I wanted to change my city. people have been asking me, are you going to run for governor? Are you going to run for senator? Are you going to run for this and that? Because California is in shambles. Our crime is up. Homelessness is out of control. Our governor is lobbying or moonlighting to be the president. We have just a tremendous amount of issues. And yes, Tyler Perry and the tax credits in Georgia taking Hollywood to Atlanta and to Georgia is affecting us. That's why I think California needs to do better on all those issues, including making it an enticing experience for studios to stay here and grow. But yeah, the state is a mess.
Yeah. Real quick, let's put this up. Jason, I will be seeing you this weekend. I'll flying in tomorrow to see you. Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards to honor Keke Palmer and Don Lemon. Tell us about that.
And Fantasia and Niecy Nash and a bunch of people. Yolanda Adams is going to take us to church. Tiffany Hash is hosting. Listen, we try, Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards was created when a show owned by people that don't look like me told me I wasn't big enough to attend. And I felt like we needed to be able to have a space that was Black owned, that honored people that look like me, that drive the culture. Don, I don't know what happened after you left your last job. You have turned into the go-to. You make me exhausted with as much content as you're able to put out, and you're happily married, and you got a whole life, and you look fabulous. Listen, we were like, yo, we have to honor Don because Don has found zero fucks to give, and the elimination shows up every day. I be at the gym, you are on the screen. I'm like, damn. I'm just so happy that we're friends, and I love how committed you are to your audience. And doing this when you own it is not easy, but you've made it look effortless, and we want to definitely recognize you. And you cuss now. Oh my God, the fact that you cuss, we love it.
Yeah, don't make me my eyeliner run at 10 in the morning here on the East Coast, 7 a.m. where you are. Jason, thank you so much. I am so honored that you thought about me, about honoring me, and I cannot wait to see you. The Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards will happen this Saturday, or this Friday.
Friday. And bring your husband, because I want you to meet my future husband.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Don't get on the headline like Tyler now. I'm kidding.
Please, I ain't got $260 million to get, so just leave me alone.
Anyway, we are Tyler Stans. All right. We're just having a little joke here. Thank you, Jason. I'll see you tomorrow and Friday. Appreciate it.
Bye, elimination.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Tyler. Okay, so listen, we're going to get to Brad Lander in just a second. Brad Lander, who was arrested yesterday, the New York Democrat, the Comptroller, who's running for mayor, is going to speak out live in just moments. Let me get the ad break in, and then we will be live with Brad Lander. Okay, so support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from BetterHelp. As you guys know, mental health is very important. I take the stigma off. I see a therapist. I think you should too. By the way, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, and to keep it all together. So it's no wonder 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. It's okay. Everybody has issues. And you can help yourself by getting some therapy. You don't have to go in person. It can be convenient and it's affordable, and you can do it virtually over the phone or over the computer. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. 35 licensed professionals, more than 35,000 licensed professionals, more than 10 years experience. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. So talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Don Lemon. That is HELP.com/Don Lemon. Also, something that's very important to me, and that is what we do about helping the underserved in the world. And that means young women, I believe the most vulnerable. Okay. So support today comes from MSI United States. Here's a hard cold fact. In sub-Saharan Africa, 4 million teenage girls drop out of school every year because they get pregnant. Just like teenagers everywhere, they experiment sexually. It happens all over the world. That is nothing new. For many of these girls, there's no access to birth control. Most will never get back to school. Some will risk their lives trying to end the pregnancy. Too many will die. The good news is there is an organization. There is an organization called MSI Reproductive Choices that's known for going to the ends of the earth to bring girls contraception and birth control to get a control over their lives. So give today. Go to msiunitedstates.org or text my last name, Lemon, to 511-511. Text Lemon to 511-511 for just $26. You can give a girl contraception for 4 years. That's 4 years to complete her education and build a future. Text Lemon to 511-511 to go to MSI. That's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed, UnitedStates.org. Okay, so thank you to our sponsors today. Now let's bring on, I believe, the man of the hour, someone I believe is a hero, who stood up for his fellow man, for immigrants in this country, for the Constitution, and for democracy. That is Brad Lander. There he is right there. He is running for mayor in New York City, and he's the current comptroller. Thank you for joining us, sir. We're glad that you're out of jail. How are you doing?
Thank you, Don. It's an honor to be on with you, and I'm doing just fine. I got to sleep in my bed last night and talk to my lawyer, Edgardo, who I was trying to escort out of the building. He slept in an ICE detention facility, God knows where, and he has no lawyer, so I'm just fine. But our democracy is not just fine.
Yeah, Mr. Possible Future Mayor. Why is it so important for you to fight for Mr. Gorgo?
Yeah, I mean, of New York City's 8 million residents, 40% are immigrants. 50% live in mixed status households, including 1 million kids. So here we are, the city with that Statue of Liberty in the harbor saying this is the greatest immigrant city the world's ever known. But it's now gone beyond that. I mean, Pam Bondi and Donald Trump have declared war on our cities and on our democracy. And every elected leader who cares about it has got to show up.
Yeah. What is going on? I feel like we're living, sort of in Gestapo times, that we're in an autocracy. I think that, hopefully we can move past this. I think it's important that millions of people got out last weekend and said that, no more, we're tired of this. Hopefully that moves us somewhere. But where are we right now, Mr. Lander? This is frightening to a lot of people who are listening to the sound of your voice right now.
Look, it is frightening, and Donald Trump is trying to distract. I mean, he's trying to pass that bill to give big tax breaks to billionaires and strip away health care. And so to distract, they are ratcheting up deportation. They've pledged millions of deportations. And I want to be clear, everybody who I tried to escort yesterday, someone who's doing exactly what they were supposed to. They registered at the border, they got a hearing date, and they showed up for their hearing only to find all of that had been made irrelevant by Donald Trump, who is ripping away their due process rights. And it's even like Orwellian. They call it dismissing your case, which you think sounds good. They're like dismissing your deportation proceeding, only to discover that means they've stripped you of status and can remove you at the elevator lobby after you walk out of the courtroom. It is a Gestapo tactic. And then at the same time, they arrest Senator Alex Padilla. They arrest a staffer of Congressman Jerry Nadler. They arrest Mayor Ras Baraka. And they arrest me. And it is a scary moment, most of all for folks like Edgardo, for families that might be separated or stripped away, but also just for the rule of law and for constitutional democracy. We have to find a way to show up insistently, nonviolently, but very clearly. And I was proud to be out there this weekend, amongst those millions of New Yorkers and Americans. And I'm going to keep showing up in immigration hearings and everywhere else I can.
Mr. Future Mayor, we're showing the video of you, up on the screen now, being arrested yesterday. So you locked arms with him. As this was going on, what were you thinking? I know that you were saying, let me see the judicial warrant. Was there ever a judicial warrant produced, and what was going through your head?
Yeah, so I had done this a few times already. This was actually the third week I had showed up in immigration court with a group called Immigrant Arc, who operate a friend of the court program that anyone can join. So I urge other people to volunteer. You observe what happens in the courtroom. And then if people are stripped of status, just escort them out of the building. And I had done that 5 times before, where I was able just to, join arms with somebody, walk them to the elevator, get them out of the building and on their way back to their family. And that's what I hoped would happen here. Obviously, that is not what happened here. So yes, I said, show me the judicial warrant, which is something, look, I wish Edgardo had a lawyer instead of me, because that's what he needed, was someone to advise him on his rights. But, one thing that people are advised to do if ICE agents show up is say, I want to see the judicial warrant. So that's what I asked for. You can see what happened.
So they, we spoke to a civil rights attorney yesterday, right after this happened to you. And he said that ICE does not have the authority to arrest a U.S. citizen. You said that as you were being arrested yesterday. and then they let you go with no charges. So they're standing out there like vultures. So imagine what happens to people who don't have any agency.
Exactly. Look, I'm a U.S. citizen. I carry a U.S. passport. I'm a white man in my 50s. I'm the elected controller of New York City. And this is what happened. Folks like Edgardo or Zed or the other families that are in there right now. Let's forget this is happening. Let's not forget it's happening again today. They have none of those things. And so, when you say Gestapo tactics or we talk about creeping authoritarianism, it's designed to strike fear. It focuses on the most vulnerable people. They pick some individual targets to try to let others know don't do this. But the goal is to just extend a kind of authoritarian power and undermine the rule of law and democracy. That's why I thought it was an important time to stand up. We have a mayor in New York City who has sold us out to Trump in the most shameful of ways. New York City, again, you have that Statue of Liberty out in the harbor saying you stand up for immigrants and refugees and for the rule of law and for democracy. To me, that's what this city is all about.
Yeah, the governor spoke out. The governor came down too and spoke out immediately. I think she was at a press conference and they said, "What do you think of the situation?" And she said, "You want to know honestly? I think it's bullshit." Her words. And then she also had this to say about you in an interview. Here it is.
But Brad Lander has all the attorneys and attention on this he needs. I mean, he can take care of himself. I'm confident of that. But what I cannot get out of my mind are all the people that are so terrified right now, the ones who go into those courtrooms following the law and the procedure, told show up this date for your court appearance, and then they're sitting ducks. While they're in the courtroom, they withdraw their legal status and they walk out and they're captured. This is beyond the pale. And we have to stand up and call it out for what it is and say we are a better country than this. And the voices that we heard during the marches over the last weekend, the people who stood up there, the elected officials who are doing their part, we have to stand up and say no more.
What do you say to that, Mr. Lander?
I was really grateful that Governor Hochul came down yesterday to help get me released and to walk out with me, as you see there, and with my wife, who was there accompanying me yesterday as well, and who I was really so grateful for and proud of. And then the governor, in addition to saying all of that, announced $50 million more for legal representation for immigrants who are facing deportation proceedings with no lawyers. And to me, that's one of the most important things at all. I was honored to be there to escort Edgardo and others, but what they really need are lawyers to defend their due process rights way better than any volunteer could. So that $50 million the governor is pledging is good. I'd like to see New York's state legislature pass and the governor sign the New York for All Act, which would strengthen New York State sanctuary protections and guarantee legal representation for folks facing deportation who don't have any. This is what cities and states can do right now. If the federal government is going to try to erode due process and the rule of law and people's rights, what cities and states can do is step up and defend them. And there, and I'm grateful that that's why the governor was there as well.
Well, Mr. Lander, you're very busy right now. I think you're on the road. I understand that you spoke or you're speaking at a workers' rights rally today. And also you are running for mayor of this great city that we're both in right now. It's Andrew Cuomo, Zoran Mamdani. You are at the top of the heap. Where you want to take the city? Give the Lemon Nation your pitch right now to be the mayor of New York City.
I mean, this is a great city, but it is facing very real challenges. The affordability crisis, people can't afford the rent, can't afford childcare. So we need a mayor who knows how to deliver a safer and more affordable city, who's honest and has integrity, not like Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo, who have sold us out in corruption, and who will stand up to Donald Trump on behalf of those basic New York values that everybody deserves a shot, that you ought to have a home you can afford, in a neighborhood you feel safe in, with a good school for your kids, in a city with all kinds of people from around the world making it work every day. And that's the kind of mayor I'll be, one who, most of my day job is making city government run better. I'm the controller. I know how to run city agencies better to deliver the affordable housing and safety and childcare and good jobs folks need. And I got the backbone to stand up to Trump at a time of crisis.
Speaking of, if you had a chance to speak to him face to face, what would you say to him?
Woof. I mean, I would say we are going to stand up for the rule of law. We are not going to let you demonize our immigrant neighbors. If you try to cut our healthcare, our housing, our schools, you're going to lose utterly in the midterms next year. Turn down the temperature, keep the National Guard, at abeyance. Whatever, there's no hope for convincing him, but we are going to show him that there's no way we are bending the knee. We're going to keep American democracy strong at every chance we can.
Nicole Luongo, one part of the Elimination, one of the Lemon Heads in the chat, says, thank you for standing up for the people and for not bowing down to Trump. There are others who are in the chat who are saying, Brad Lander for mayor. Mr. Future possible mayor and Mr. Comptroller. And I think, the hero of at least the last 24 hours. And then last week, the hero was Alex Padilla. I'm wondering, before I let you go, have you spoken to Senator Padilla?
I have not gotten the chance to speak to him yet. I was really grateful for what he said yesterday, not just in regard for me, but in clarity about the moment we're in. So thanks to him for going into that press conference and for not backing down and for helping Americans see that this is an urgent time and we can all stand up. Thanks to everybody who was out this weekend marching. Go register to be an observer, a friend of the court yourselves. Our democracy's on the line. It's for all of us to stand up and protect it.
Best of luck to you. We're so grateful that you could join us this morning, and you take care of yourself, okay? Keep fighting for democracy and for the right thing. Thank you, sir.
I'm going back. I'll be back in that in that courtroom, escorting the next set of folks out, hopefully as the Democratic nominee for mayor, and I will always keep fighting. Grateful for you, Don.
All right, come back, please. Early and often. Thank you. Thank you very much. Brad Lander, everyone. Wow, what an amazing get for him to come on this morning and talk about that. So we appreciate him coming on. And he's right about Alex Padilla. Alex Padilla also spoke out about his arrest yesterday. We can play some of the video of his arrest, and let's also hear what he had to say simultaneously. Here it is.
So last week, when I heard something so blatantly un-American from the Secretary of Homeland Security, a cabinet official, of course I was compelled, both as a senator and as an American, to speak up. But before I could even get out my question, I was physically and aggressively forced out of the room. Even as I repeatedly announced I was a United States Senator and I had a question for the Secretary. And even as the National Guardsman and the FBI agent who served as my escorts and brought me into that press briefing room stood by, silently, knowing full well who I was. You've seen the video. I was pushed and pulled, struggled to maintain my balance. I was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, why am I being detained? Not once did they tell me why. I pray you never have a moment like this. But I will tell you, in that moment, a lot of questions came to my mind. First of all, where are they taking me? Because I know I'm not just being escorted out of the building. Am I being arrested here? And what will a city already on edge from being militarized think when they see their United States Senator being handcuffed just for trying to ask a question. And what will my wife think? What will our boys think?
That was Senator Alex Padilla speaking about his arrest. This is you can show it as we speak here, but this is the arrest that he was talking about. It happened last week, remember, in California, as he was trying to get some questions in to Kristi Noem, who's the head of Homeland Security. And here he is in his state of California, trying to speak to someone who should be representing the people. And then he gets detained and then taken down on the floor, handcuffed. And then that very similar thing happens to Brad Lander yesterday. Both of these people were released without charges. Alex Padilla was never charged, did not go to jail, none of that. I don't believe that he was ever detained in a lockup. He was detained because they stopped him from going in and he was held for a moment. But Brad Lander went to jail. The governor went down to help him out. And Brad Lander was released, no charges as well. But as he just said live here on the Don Lemon Show, these are Gestapo tactics. And folks have to be willing to stand up for this. Even if you think that, you're voiceless, you're not. And the millions of people who are out in droves this past weekend, I believe it is scary, it is intimidating, and it gives the administration pause. And the MAGA folks are, they're trying to turn what happened this weekend into something they said was a failure, while they said that stupid loser of a birthday parade for Donald Trump was a success. It was not. It was a total embarrassing failure where hardly anybody showed up. And that is the world a world of unreality that we're living in, an upside down world where 5 million people turning out can be a failure, and a parade that was rained on and nobody attended and everybody was bored is a success. They've got it wrong. And I believe the American people have had enough. So hopefully this will encourage you. This is wrong. This is wrong to handle an elected official this way, but to handle anyone this way. Even someone who is an undocumented person in this country. This is America. We don't do that. We are a humane country. We believe in due process. We believe in the rule of law here. And I know that it doesn't always happen, but we try to, at least we aspire to, and we should, to treat all citizens equally and fairly under the law, and all people who are in this country. Even if you're in this country and you are not a legal citizen, we afford you certain rights under the Constitution, and we treat you as a human being and not as a prop for a government official to prop themselves up because of their big egos. Okay, so we're going to continue to follow that, and we're also going to tell you about what's happening as it relates to Israel, because Donald Trump and Tulsi Gabbard. They're saying Tulsi Gabbard is on thin ice and they are not happy. And Donald Trump is trying to pretend that he has something to do with what's going on overseas, that he has some power to affect what's happening in Israel and Iran, and he has nothing. Bibi Netanyahu is running all over him. So stand by. Right after this break, we're going to tell you about that. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Shopify. Okay? You guys know that I was in traditional legacy media for a long time, and I couldn't say and do and be exactly what I wanted to say, do, and be there. Okay. But, I fought. So this was a dream for me to be able to do my own thing, to be able to set my own schedule, to be able to do whatever content I wanted, not to have a muzzle or be censored. And so I turned my dream into a reality. And so everybody wants to do something. I think most people want to be entrepreneurs, but too many of us it remains just a dream. So don't hold yourself back thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why not. So it's Shopify by your side. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world. 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands just getting started. As you know, our merch store is on the Shopify platform. Okay. And so Shopify can help you make your dreams happen. Okay. So you're thinking, I don't have not to design a website. I don't have a strategy for any of this stuff. Shopify can help you. So you can turn those dreams into, with 24/7 award-winning customer service, they can help you out. Okay. So give your dreams the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. Go to shopify.com/lemon, shopify.com/lemon. You remember the old sound of the cash registers? I love that. And it'd be like, remember that? We love that sound. That sound is still in vogue. I think we need to bring that sound back. There's something about sounds that get you going and that lets you know, hey, this is real. I want to bring the cash register sound back. Okay. So let's show, this is the article from, this is some news on Israel and Iran. I don't know if we have a live picture, guys. If you can find something, please let us know. But I want to show this article because this is really what's happening. And I would love to get this journalist on. I'm trying to get Simon Tisdall on because I don't know if you've ever seen him online, but he is an amazing journalist. And I think he has a YouTube show. He holds people to account, especially as it relates to foreign policy, and Israeli policy and what's happening overseas. Mr. Tisdall, says Trump, Netanyahu, and Khamenei, 3 angry old men who could get us killed. And I want to know where the lie is in all of that. 3 angry old men who could get us killed. Whether inept, driven by survival, or corrupt, they are unfit to lead their countries, let alone make decisions that imperil the whole world. So scroll up. So someone sent me this because I had not read it yet. And they said, they mentioned a specific journalist and they said, I bet such and such doesn't have the balls to write this particular piece. And Simon Tisdall says, this was not inevitable. This is a war Israel chose. It could have been prevented. Diplomatic talks were ongoing when the bombers took off for Iran. Israel's continuing illegal, unjust airstrikes are unlikely to achieve their stated aim, permanently ending Tehran's presumed efforts to build nuclear weapons, and may accelerate it. They must stop now. Likewise, Iran must halt its retaliation immediately and drop its escalatory threats to attack U.S. and UK bases. And then he goes on in this to talk specifically about the 3 men who are involved in this. Donald Trump's ineptness. If you scroll up a little bit, and Andy, I want to go through it as he talks about the people. Keep scrolling. So he talks about Donald Trump being inept. Keep going. Keep going. Keep scrolling. About Donald Trump being inept. He talks about Khamenei and how he believes he is an evil person. And he talks about basically saying similarly about Netanyahu. So here we go. The bottom right here. Netanyahu, 75, is unfit to lead Israel, let alone make life or death decisions on its behalf. He failed to protect Israelis from the 2023 terror attacks, then dodged responsibility. He has failed to fulfill his vow to destroy Hamas and bring back the hostages. Yet his soldiers have killed more than 55,000 Palestinians in Gaza in the process. He invaded Lebanon and Syria. Now it's Iran. Where will he stop? Will he fight Turkey next? It's not out of the question. And keep going. And then he goes on to an assessment. Keep scrolling. Let's see what he says about Khamenei here. Keep going. Okay, here he goes. Ayatollah al-Khamenei, Iran's bellicose supreme leader, is the second leading culprit. He should have been put out to grass in calm years ago. The 86-year-old squats atop a repressive, corrupt, theocratical regime that has lost touch with the society and the people it ostensibly serves. Elections are fixed, judges are bent, media censorship is pervasive, the regime's military incompetence, economic mismanagement, and brutal persecution of young women, gay men, and human rights defenders, such as Nasrin Sotoudeh, are notorious. Okay? So like Netanyahu, Khamenei is backed by hardline conservatives and opposed by reformers, but it's him who calls the shot. Now, let's see. He goes on to talk about Donald Trump. All right? So keep going. Here we go. Trump, 79, is the 3rd man in this avoidable tragedy. He previously said that he preferred to negotiate a new nuclear deal with Iran, having idiotically trashed the previous one. Trashed the previous one by the way, that Barack Obama did and was making headway. But because it was Barack Obama, Donald Trump was like, we got to get rid of it and start over. And then he fucked it up. And then so here we are. Okay. But he couldn't decide on terms. And his amateurish negotiators kept changing their position. That was partly because Trump, as with Palestine and Ukraine, is too idle to study the details. What he's saying here is Donald Trump is dumb. He doesn't read. He doesn't know what's going on. He's all about bluster and trying to intimidate people on social media. He is a weak, chubby loser of a leader who sadly is in charge of the free world right now. Actually, it's Bibi Netanyahu, or who is the leader of the free world right now by in name only, but it's Bibi Netanyahu. Okay, but he couldn't decide on terms, and his amateurish negotiators kept changing their position. That was partly because Trump, as with Palestine and Ukraine, is too idle to study the details. He wings it instead, thrusting to instincts that are invariably bad. That makes him easy prey for wily operators such as Netanyahu. Trump's feeble ineptitude meant that when Israel's leader insisted that last week that the time was right for an all-out attack on Iran, he folded. Haven't I been telling you guys this forever? Donald Trump has nothing to do with what is happening in Iran and Israel, except that he ushered it in with his ineptitude. But he's not calling the shots. Bibi Netanyahu is calling the shots and saying, check me if you want. And Donald Trump is not doing anything except trying to pretend that he has some power and that he is controlling the situation. He is not. It is all bluster. Okay? Typically, once the attack began, he switched. See what I said? Trying to claim credit and issuing flatulent threats of his own. Each time he opens his mouth, Trump inadvertently confirms Iran's suspicions. Sorry, I need to put this and make it lighter. Suspicions that the U.S. and Israel are acting in close concert. They are not. Bibi Netanyahu is doing whatever the hell he wants, and Donald Trump is just following along. Okay? An urgent message to Keir Starmer, anyone who still thinks Trump has even the remotest idea what he is doing when confronting the big international questions of the day should study the alarming events of the past week, whether he is selling out to Vladimir Putin, weaponizing tariffs, botching a Gaza ceasefire, or bullying neighbors. Trump is a total menace. Far better and safer for Britain to bypass him and try as much as possible to act independently of the U.S. from now on. These angry old men could get us killed. Simon Tisdall from The Guardian, foreign affairs commentator. Amen, brother. I hope that you come on this show and talk about this because you are absolutely 150% right. Donald Trump does not have a foreign policy plan. Donald Trump does not have a domestic policy plan. He is winging it, and all he's doing is blustering and standing up like a fool. And he wants to, at the parade to do this, and then he goes to the G7. He's, I'm leaving because I need to go take care of what's happening in Iran and Israel. There's nothing to do with it. And so, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard said in March at a hearing that she believed that that Iran was nowhere near getting a nuclear weapon. And here it is. And then I'll show you what Donald Trump said. Here it is.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
So there you go. Okay. And so then when Donald Trump said, oh, we had to do this because Bibi Netanyahu told him they had to, and that he is close to a nuclear weapon, this is what Donald Trump said on the plane when asked about, well, Tulsi Gabbard didn't say that.
But how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having one.
I don't care what she said. I think they're very close to having one. Okay. And now they're fighting. Here's Jessica Tarlov on the 5.
What's also interesting about what's going on is that it appears that Tulsi Gabbard has been iced out. So Peter Doocy was reporting earlier that there was a meeting last week at Camp David, all the intel chiefs, Tulsi not invited. And Donald Trump yesterday, when he was speaking on Air Force One, someone said, you know, Tulsi testified just back in March that Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon. And he goes, I don't care what she said. And I have a lot of disagreements with Tulsi and her policy, but she is a very clear war dove, right? That was part of the reason that she liked Donald Trump. Why didn't he invite her? She's a DNI.
No, what I'm saying is Trump's response.
Okay, so and then they try to make excuses for that. But now he is pissed because I guess Tulsi Gabbard told the truth about what Donald Trump has been saying, and also Bibi Netanyahu has been saying. Bibi Netanyahu has been saying since the 90s. Since the 90s, that Iran was close to getting a nuclear weapon. He has been saying that since the 1990s. And so far, it has not come to fruition. So Tulsi Gabbard says in front of a hearing, they're not close to a nuclear weapon. They're going to continue to monitor. Donald Trump was asked about it on the plane, and as he was coming back from Canada, leaving the G7 summit early, saying, hey, Tulsi Gabbard said that they're not. And he goes, I don't care what she says. I believe that they are. Okay? And here is what they have been saying, Bibi Netanyahu, since 1995.
Not ready quite yet.
Not ready quite yet. Okay, we'll get to what Bibi Netanyahu has been saying since 1995. If I'm talking, Andy, just roll it. Also, let's see. Let's play this. Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz are arguing over Israel and Iran. If you have not seen this, then you are missing out. This is one of the best interviews I've seen in a while. And quite frankly, it's from Tucker Carlson. Here it is.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
what
predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay,
actually,
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay. So here's what I want to say. I received this from one of my former producers at CNN, and they said to me, now here's the gist, that everything that Tucker Carlson was doing, a lot of what he was doing over on Fox News and all of the propaganda that he was doing, that he actually knows how to be a journalist. And so she said, this is why we know it's all fake, because Tucker was very good in that moment. You have to give it to him. Again, you guys know how I feel about Tucker. I said a broken clock is off, right, twice a day. But I got to say that Tucker on this particular issue has been really good. And I can't say that he's wrong on this issue. But Ted Cruz got owned in that moment. Ted Cruz got owned by Tucker Carlson. And that shows you that these senators and these politicians don't know really what they're talking about as it relates to Iran and Israel. They just sort of go along with what has been for decades, or what the Trump administration says, or what the MAGA messaging is on Israel, Iran, and Gaza. And they really don't know that much about the region or Iran, as Tucker pointed out. And also, how long has Bibi Netanyahu been saying that Iran was close to a nuclear weapon since 1995, and all of a sudden it's happening now. What is going on? Maybe some way he's in cahoots with Donald Trump, and I don't know, needs a message to change the narrative somehow. I don't know if that's it. I just believe that Bibi Netanyahu sees weakness in Iran after they struck Iran last year, weakness in the administration, the Trump administration now, and he knows that Donald Trump is not going to push back. Bibi Netanyahu can push Donald Trump around in ways that he couldn't do with Joe Biden or Barack Obama. So this is what Netanyahu has been saying. And remember, they had to do this. That's in 1995. Here it is.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb. Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Now, you can say whatever you want you can feel however you want about Bibi Netanyahu and about Israel and about our policy, but Bibi Netanyahu has had this same line since 1995 there. And if you don't see bullshit in that, then I don't know what can convince you. I don't know what can convince you that perhaps some things need to be looked into a little bit more and investigated. Is America being played? Is the world being played by Bibi Netanyahu? And for what? And for what? So you guys let me know. That is the news today. Okay? So a lot of you have been asking me, hey, look what's going on. Where'd you get this? You too can get the Lemon Live shirt. Our merch store is open, by the way. You guys asked for it. You got it, Toyota. You have the merch store. So this is where you can go to order. It is on, if you go to donlemon.com, I think it's up on donlemon.com, but I would urge you first to go to the YouTube, our page, our show page on YouTube. It is on donlemon.com if you click on it. But go to our show page on YouTube as well, and you too can get that. Okay? You can also get this from the Don Lemon Show. This is our fancy mug. And then it has on the other side, Lemon Live. And so I love this mug. I can't wait to get the one that I really love more than anything. Oh, I had the other one. I don't have the other one. The other one's in the dishwasher because I've been using it. And then you can also get this as well. So our merch store is open. And the new things, these are the new things. This is the Turn the TV Off t-shirt and the Turn the TV Off sweatshirt that was just for our members. Got a sneak preview of this. The Legends and the Lemonheads got a sneak preview. They were able to buy this early, and so now I think it is open to everyone. So you too can go get that. And that's my favorite mug. You guys always, I always say, "Oh, people be knowing," and when I say turn the TV off at the end of every stream. So, what a fantastic show! Go to the Don Lemon merch store. Put it up, Andy. We want them to go to the Don Lemon merch store and buy this stuff because it's great. Also because it supports us here at the Don Lemon Show. So I would urge you to go check out our stuff, support it. We're going to get some more stuff. I'm also going to try to bring the prices down a little bit to see what we can do because you guys know with tariffs now and all that, this stuff is expensive. So I'm sorry. So we're going to try to bring the prices down a little bit because I looked at it and Tim looked at it the other day and we're like, they're a little high. We're going to try to get them down and see what we can do. Okay. But go there, check it out. It's good quality stuff. This is great. And then on Friday, we're going to need that Lemon Live glass right there that you can put a little sip in it. You see what I'm talking about. And so anyway, that's it. So it's important for us to become a member, to support us, and also to hit that thumbs up button, the like button. And just because you're a member does not mean that you are subscribed to the Don Lemon channel. I often find that when I try to message people to thank them for their support, and if their name doesn't populate on the site, that means that they're not subscribed. If you're a subscriber, your name will populate as I am trying to thank you. I'll put in an @ and they'll just say, oh, @ Sarah or @ Tommy or @ Monica Selly, right? And made in the USA, it says. So it's it'll populate, but it's not. So make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers. That will really help us. We're at almost 740 right now. So we're not far away, just over a year and a half almost that we've been doing this. Not quite a year and a half. Okay. So we appreciate your support, as you know. What about this show today? When we say hot topics, in really the line of maybe Wendy or The View, when we say hot topics, this is hot topics. We went from Tyler Perry to Brad Lander, who was arrested, to Alex Padilla, to what's happening in Israel, all kinds of things that we did here. You're going to get it. And then yesterday's show was great, breaking news as well. Okay, so this is what you're going to get on the Don Lemon Show. And there you go. So we have a big show planned for you at 5 o'clock today. We're going to see you at 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to go out now and go talk to some New Yorkers about the mayoral race and about what's happening in the world. And you're going to see that on our socials and in our show as well. Okay. So thank you guys. And in the meantime, turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.